Translation. After the incarnation of the first Purusha, Karanarnavashai Vishnu, the Mahatattva, or the principles of material creation, take place. And then time is manifested. And in the course of time, the three qualities appear. Nature means the three qualitative appearances. They transform into activities. I'll read the words again. As I said, listen carefully, because I don't know what I'm reading about. After the incarnation of the first Purusha, Karanavarnashai Vishnu, the Mahatattva, or the principles of material creation, take place. And then time is manifested. And in the course of time, the three qualities appear. Nature means the three qualitative appearances. They transform into activities. You got it, yeah? It's easy. Good. Next step. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. By the omnipotency of the Supreme Lord, the whole material creation evolves by the process of transformation and reactions one after another. And by the same omnipotency, they are wound up again and after another. They wound up again, one after another, and conserved in the body of the Supreme. Kala, or time, Kala or time, all time, is the synonyms of nature and is a transformed manifestation of the principles of material creation. As such, Kala may be taken as the first cause of all creations. And by the transformation of nature, different activities of the material world become visible. These activities may be taken up as the natural instinct of each and every living being, or even of the inert objects. And after the manifestation of activities, there are varieties of products and byproducts of the same nature. Originally, these are all due to the Supreme Lord. The Vedanta Sutras and the Bhagavatam thus begin with the absolute truth as the beginning of all creation. Janmadi asya yataha. This is even more simple than the words, isn't it? Actually, I took few notes and I didn't properly shut my computer and it's all gone. I couldn't repeat this again. I have my mobile phone with few random thoughts. Okay, verse again. After the incarnation of the first Purusha, Karanavashai Vishnu, the Mahatattva, or the principles of material creation, take place. And then time is manifested, and in course of time, the three qualities appear. Nature means three qualitative appearances. They transform into activities. Cool. Okay. So, cause of all causes, creation is described in these few chapters. And it can appear to be dry and uninteresting to the devotees after some time. But creation itself is described quite a few times throughout Srimad Bhagavatam. Just in third canto there is a creation described. Then Maitreya described, then Kapila Muni described, then all the sequences of throughout so many times. So it's important to be there. Actually, if you just think, all of us, we came through this so-called bridge preaching. This is all bridge preaching in the sense. Creation, who am I? How is created? So this was very appealing. Most of us, if not all, came through that inquiry. So creation described so many times. Shukadeva Goswami asks so many times. I don't know, Uddhava asks, and Vidura asks, and so many. The same for us. That's a bridge. And we are very lucky, actually, to surpass that interest in this dry structure of the universe. But if you read again and again, your appreciation for the Supreme will grow with this. How intricate creation is, how intricate this bridge is. But if you stay on the bridge, be fascinated by material, by color, by structure, by design, there's no progress. Therefore, intelligent person asks, wait a minute, what you will ask? What you ask when you see amazing bridge like Golden Gate or so many nice bridges? Who created this? Yeah, that's the first question. But you cannot stay forever there, is it? So we ask, what is on another side? These are intelligent questions. Therefore, when we preach, when we meet people, whatever, on the street, when they ask those questions, then we are very enlightened. What is on the other side? What is the purpose? So, entire creation is like that amazing bridge. Really, when you study that, just incredible. Just you cannot understand, but it's, you can see the eyes of Krishna in every speck of it. So initially, when you come through this inquiry, like you get Bhagavad Gita, which gives you hints only, gives you just kind of initial info. Hey, you are not the body, you are soul, you are eternal. So that's the first kind of hint for the progress. And briefly just tells you how did you put yourself in this mess, which is also, it gives you relief as well. How did you put in your mess? Many verses in Bhagavad Gita is, how one gets entangled in this material world. And then Srimad Bhagavatam, at the beginning here, takes you from that stage forward and takes you so many times backwards, because there is so many times described the dissolution of this world, how material creation is wound up back again, and how elements are withdrawn within each other sequentially, and then rest again into Mahavishnu. See, so many times described. So this is meaning to that. And of course, when you come to that, then there's a progression. When you accept that, perhaps you don't need to study all this subject matter, but for preaching is very important, because there are different levels, and Srimad Bhagavatam gives you the process, how you can reverse this and go back to this origin, how to cross that bridge. And then when you come to, Chaitanya Charitamrita, like now we have discussions of Ramananda Roya and Lord Chaitanya, then there are many levels there are many levels, different rasas, more and more and more. And then spiritual life means simply there is never top, like you reach the peak, that's it. Always expanding. So in one sense, even in a perfected stage, you never at the end, finally. So that's a kind of spiritual life which it's never end, always expanding. See? Okay, analyze a little bit the verse. After the incarnation, the first Purusha, Karana, Vashaya, Vishnu, the Mahatattva, the principles of material creation take place. So this is described as Karana Varnashaya Vishnu, which is simply another name for Karanodakshaya Vishnu, cause of all causes, which is Mahavishnu, Srinivas mentioned yesterday. This is Mahavishnu. See, is the first Purusha of three Purusha. Yesterday also we mentioned Karano Dakashaya Vishnu or Karnavarshaya Vishnu or Mahavishnu, then Garbo Dakashaya Vishnu and Kshiro Dakashaya Vishnu. So, since somehow I get such a verses cut few times, so you can again say things which I said before, how creation takes place, because conditioned living entities must be given chance somehow to be liberated from this world. They are rotting somewhere there, dormant, within the body of Vishnu, before creation. So there is this thing called pradhan. Pradhana is like a cloud which hovering in the spiritual world, within a Brahmajyoti. It's like a kind of cloud. It's described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Nobody could understand what this pradhana is. It's something just unthinkable by any brains of this universe. So that's a kind of like you can say workshop or base for entire material creation. And then when first Purusha incarnates, Mahavishnu, he glances over that pradhana. And that pradhana becomes alive, something happening inside. When pradhana becomes alive, it's called Mahatattva. That means 3 modes are waken up. Like yesterday, Swayam Jyoti mentioned cooking sweet rice or khichdi. When you put all in pot, everything is on the bottom. Even your chunks, everything is covered with water. It's sitting there. You don't know what is inside. This is like pradhan. You cannot describe it. But when you add the fire, when it starts to churn, then something is awakened there. So that's a Mahatattva. Something happening there. And of course, then from that, Lord Vishnu again enters into that space and then breathes out the universes from pore of his skin or from all the place. It's mentioned in one place I read that universes which comes out of pore of his body are smaller, but those which exit from his nose, nostril, or mouth are bigger. So they're different, bigger universes, smaller universes. And then they come like golden bubbles called Hiranya something. Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha more, you can call it universe. Golden eggs. They're empty, there's nothing inside, like bubbles. And then Lord Vishnu then expands as a Garbhodakashaya Vishnu and enters into each of those universes inside. He can do it with mystical opulency, mystical perfection. He enters into, like if you try to pierce the bubble, what will happen? It just bursts. But Lord Vishnu enters into that golden egg. There's nothing inside. And then fills half of that each universe with this perspiration and lays down, enjoys. He says for thousands and thousands and thousands of cycles, laying there just in slumber, kind of. And then it's time, like you sleeping for a long time, then you think, well, okay, now it's time to do something. So he said, okay, it's time for creation. Then, of course, a lotus sprout from his navel, on which Lord Brahma is born. And this lotus itself is thousands and thousands of golden petals. By this effulgence, it dries up certain amount of that water, and Lord Brahma is born there, which is meant to create everything. So later on, after Brahma creates, then Lord also expands again as a Kshirakshaya Vishnu or super soul inside of every living entity to bring further motion. So when, for example, the Lord Brahma prays Govinda Madi Purusham, the original Govinda, he prays to Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. But when he got darshan of the Lord, he got realization that this Garbhodakashaya Vishnu is Govindam, original. This okay. So there's so many theories about creation. When I was in school, I think 6, 7 different theories about creation is, and you cannot do anything but guess and theorize. Therefore, I call theories. They're very difficult to penetrate the origin. Besides Big Bang, there is quite a few others. I don't even remember anymore. Something like, I remember one theory of frozen origin, something, then plasma or something. They're different, or it comes from black hole or something. Don't remember. And then you are never certain with these theories. That's the thing. You're never certain. You cannot just be sure about anything. Therefore, this scientist tried to connect all these theories into one. What's the name of this on wheelchair who died recently? Stephen Hawking, yeah. He tried to kind of unify. Yeah, his book is called, I think, Theory of Unified Theory or something. Yeah. I don't know, did anyone scheme through? Did he really connected all this? Oh, we just expanded on that. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. But here we have description, which is also mind-boggling. But I tell you for certain that I'm more kind of content by reading this than try to understand all these theories there, because they are not certain. That's the thing, See, because the tendency is there, main in scientifical, to kind of try to figure out finally pattern how world is created and try to duplicate. They tried. I think they few times they created this collider or something to try to recreate this first origin of Big Bang or something. But tendency is once you figure it out, then you duplicate, and then you hopefully create life from matter. And then what you do with that? You just shut the mouth of all preachers. You see, there is no God. And because our tendency is somehow to not be dominated by modes, not to be dominated by the laws of nature, but control it, direct for our own purpose. We try to be controller, all of us. In other words, to be God. You cannot be peaceful until you are in control, isn't it? If you are dominated by something, there's no peace there. Therefore, we're all over the place, restless all the time. See? But the point is that Lord controls 3 modes of nature, and 3 modes of nature control the living entities. You see, always like that. So you cannot surpass that, As I mentioned before, even if you, by some fortune, come back to really real origin, furthest you can go is up to that Mahatattva. Boom, that's it. You cannot understand beyond. Therefore, by all logic, life comes from matter, because you cannot see the spiritual energy behind. You have to speak of further and meet the person who created everything, The next verse gives some more light to this kind of, really. This is a very complex verse. It's hard to very speak about it. But the next verse kind of gives some hint. It says the external Lord's energy, which is covering the material energy, is so constant that appears that living entity is eternally ignorant. So it appears Maya's energy is materially produced. Therefore, material scientists cannot look beyond the material causes, but beyond our adbhuta, repetition of birth and death, etc. I kind of notes which are scattered all place. Please bear with me, because I lost my original notes. Okay, let's go. Just try. By the omnipotency of the Supreme Lord, the whole material creation evolves by the process of transformation and reactions one after another. And by the same omnipotency, they are wound up again, one after another, and conserving the body of the Supreme. So, they say that 3 modes are created later on. First there is, glance of Mahavishnu, and then modes, and then time, And then here describe how everything is created, reaches its peak, and wound up again back to Mahavishnu. And this constant creation and destruction is so disturbing for the living entities. It's very traumatic to go back and then be wound up and be suspended within the body of Mahavishnu for the jiva, which is always active. It's very traumatic, spent for so long and so many times within the body of Mahavishnu. See, this itself should be impetus for us to take this process. See, so kala, or time, is a synonym of nature, and is transformed manifestation of the principle of material creation. So kala is symptom of nature. Here is specifically in the word for word says svabhava, which the other day we mentioned also on Chintamani, her class. This svabhava refers to our conditioned nature. That's our svabhava. See. And because of that svabhava, different activities become visible. So because we are conditioned so much by this svabhava, our conditioned nature, then we perform certain activities, see, which also correspond to the modes we are in. See, it's mentioned in verse that these activities are natural instinct of every living being and even inert object. That everything which is created in this material world, inert object, living entities, they're all under these 3 modes, which is our svabhava. And then they are products of that modes, and they are byproducts of that mode. That means whatever we do will be corresponding to our modes. Like passionate person, we again create something which is in mode of passion. And this will create another byproducts which is in passion also. Or also, if you are in goodness, then naturally what you do something, your products will be in mode of goodness, and byproducts will be in mode of goodness. And of course, ignorance is the same. See, because of conditions, this svabhava. See. But it says verse that originally they are due to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means, in one sense, you can blame the Supreme for that, because he creates the modes which compel living entities to act in a certain way. So his verse says, originally they are due to the Supreme Lord. See? Janmadhyasya yataha. Absolute truth is beginning of all creation. I don't know what to say more. I just don't know what I'm talking about, actually. If somebody has some thoughts on this verse, it's very difficult. I don't want to go beyond it. We try to just understand. Anyone? I don't know.
In one of his lectures, Prabhupada was explaining how every jiva that comes into the material world thinks he wants to be the controller. And each jiva is trying to, even within every body there's many cells and many jivas within each body. So within the jiva within the body, he's thinking this body I'm in is like a universe. So in that sense, everyone is thinking he's the controller of his own universe.
Yeah, one says this, microcosmos and microcosmos.
Yeah, in that sense, he's trying to be control the universe. And he says even Lord Brahma, he's the universe that we are in now. This planet is like 7 cubits according to his body. This universe is like 7 cubits according to his body.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's inconceivable to understand Krishna's creation, because every jiva is thinking within his body is a universe for any other jivas. In that sense, the creation is inconceivable. And there's a story of Durvasa Muni. This is in Navaraja Mahima. Shiva Maharaj gives it. He says how Durvasa Muni saw Krishna in Vrindavan, and he could not believe that Krishna could actually descend to the from his spiritual, from Goloka to the earthly Vrindavan. He could not conceive that. So Krishna, in order to teach him a lesson, he called Durvasa Muni near him. This is when he was playing with other cowherd boys. And he put Durvasa Muni within his nostril. And Durvasa Muni was seeing a whole different creation. He was seeing many different universes. He saw all the demigods worshipping baby Krishna. Then at a point he saw he was living on a mountain for millions of years. Then at some point he came out of Krishna's body. Then he could understand this is the original Krishna. Another point is you mentioned about Mahavishnu, the glance. So the glance of Mahavishnu is Advaita Acharya.
Yes,
He explains how Advaita Acharya is the cause of the unlimited universes. That glance is Shada Shiva. Because Mahavishnu doesn't touch the creation. So and that same Advaita Acharya appears in Lord Chaitanya's pastime to propagate the line of bhakti, to relieve the conditioned souls.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, we can see how Krishna is a person. He expands in many Vishnu tattvas to reclaim the fallen souls. And he's also sending his devotees. So he's coming as a devotee himself, Lord Chaitanya, Advaita Acharya. Actually, Prabhupada said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that they actually came in this way because if they displayed their full opulences as the Supreme Lord, then people would not, then they would try and imitate them. So they had to show the line of how to become devotees. So in this way, the fallen souls can understand how to become devotees of Krishna.
Okay. Anyone just do anything?
I just have a question on that then. So the glance is Advaita Acharya, and Guru was so nicely explaining that in Chaitanya Leela, like Advaita Acharya is sincere prayer to save the fallen souls, right? But then also is because of him coming in contact with Pradhan that the material Sadashiva, like so the Advaita Acharya is not different from Sadashiva, right? So because of that glance coming in contact with Pradhan, the like material creation, so to speak, manifests. So it's like on one in Chaitanya Leela, Advaita Acharya is like praying sincerely for the fallen souls to go back to the spiritual world. But then on the other hand, he's come in contact with Pradhan and creates material manifestation as well. So it seems I don't know.
I mean, it's just simple. He's never contaminated by it. So this is a very complex subject, but he's never contaminated by it. Also, glance doesn't mean you touch. The same like air actually it doesn't touch neither rose nor stool nor just carries the aroma. So, or Prabhupada mentioned sky is always detached. So many things happen in the sky, but the sky is just vast. So in the same way, like the Lord can come. It's not that he becomes contaminated. Any incarnation comes, it's not like Prabhupada said that Lord Varaha becomes a really ordinary boar. He's just still transcendental. So in that sense, for the sake of explaining all this, is mentioned, he touches material nature, but he doesn't. This is so intricate, like how when he touches material nature, he is Sadashiva. And Sadashiva is a controller of Tamaguna, and he gets influenced by it. So, that's an interesting subject. If somebody has some shed a light on that. In other words, you go, and the Lord Shiva touches, it becomes contaminated. But Lord is never contaminated by it. Yeah.
Prabhu, I thought you were asking, why is it that Advaita Acharya wants to deliver the conditioned soul, so why is he facilitating it and creating that universe? Is that what you were asking as well? Yeah, he was asking that point. Why is he creating the universe if he wants to liberate them?
Therefore I said, this is just a bridge to save the conditioned souls. How would you save the conditioned souls which are within the body of Mahavishnu, and then there's no way they can be just transferred from there straight to spiritual world without going through purificatory process? And then their desires also holding them back down. So therefore, entire process is set up for them to go to the process, to go to creation, and then later on to Varnashram, to get really prepared. That's the thing. Therefore, the Lord is very intelligent. He created a system for us to go back to Godhead. So when you see entire universe, amazing, intricate creation, is just for that purpose. Like a bridge to take us back. There's a Lord's plan to take us back. Therefore, He creates material, nature, and there is other entities like Durga, Maya Devi, whatever. Conditioned living entities to really prepare them, to squeeze life out of them, so to say. This conditioned life. You need to be sieved. So all material creation is meant for that. As a structure, if you see the universe like that, then when you read about creation, you'll be in ecstasy. It's just amazing plan for us just to take us home back to Godhead. Amazing plan. It's just so much intelligent design. So many, different entities and certain posts to control such an affairs just for one purpose. Take us back. That's the Lord's plan. Always take us back. Somehow takes us back. Therefore, everything is created. Hellish planets, middle planets, higher planets, just for that purpose. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that wonderful plan? Just never gives up. That's what material creation is for. Yeah. Any other thoughts behind you?
Hare Krishna. I just want to share one particular point that for me stands out in what you said. At some point you were talking about that in the spiritual world there's not really an end. It's not like you reach some point you reach a ceiling and then, like you said, that's it, finally. So it's, from what I understand, haven't been there, but from what I understand in the spiritual world, everything is always expanding. It's always full of bliss and love and happiness, and it never stops. No, it expands all the time.
Yeah, because if it would stop, you'll become bored even there. See, you'll become bored, isn't it? It doesn't matter. If you're looking forward to enjoy something, to have something, it doesn't matter what it is, object, thing, relationship. And then at a certain point, that's it, doesn't go further than that. Goes down by inertia. Even Lord Krishna, why is always ever expanding? It's not just conditioned souls who wants new pleasure. Lord also wants, otherwise He would stop expanding. He expands because He wants constantly new experience, therefore He never stops. comes from this. At one sense, you can get frustrated. In God's sake, I can't do anymore. Just never end. You can think. Therefore, in that set of mind, you desire to merge into Brahmajyoti because you think I'll get relief there. Okay, finally, okay, it's enough. But you have to come back. Or the other way, we discussed that some jivas actually stay forever in that Brahmajyoti, suspended, and you feel like, wow, bliss. But how long again? Impersonalists must come at some point back because you just, you cannot interact with anyone. You don't know what you are, you're just, conscious of your existence. And you see other sparks there, but you cannot communicate. Can you imagine? Somebody sends you amazing holidays somewhere, gives you everything, but condition is you cannot talk to anyone. Everybody will ignore you, and you can have everything you want forever. Will you do this? Maybe for 2 days, something. Like you just think that like happiness is from relationships, and misery too. Can you be just nowhere? Like you just doomed that even those who achieve perfection, they just must change that situation. That's my thought. Yeah.
So I just wanted to continue on this. So because we are conditioned and we are used to dividing everything, So we're used to, like, for example, I'm going to work and then I'm done. I'm going home. So I'm sitting on the sofa and it's finished. Like we have this kind of mentality of putting an end to everything or dividing. So if this can be a very big blockage actually rise our consciousness, and to realize really to reach this consciousness of the eternal present that's always expanding.
So I mean, the same tendency there is like to enter Brahmajyoti, as I mentioned. You work hard, God, I need a break, and you come home to relax. It's the same thing. You just say, enough of this world, then I need a break. Therefore, Brahmajyoti solution is the same thing. But this is not, soul is dynamic, you can say fortunately or unfortunately. Some people are just sick of relationships also.
Yes, Prabhu, the Krishna, what is that? Navanita Kishore, is it ever fresh?
Ever fresh. Oh,
ever fresh.
Yeah.
And time, there's no
That's
time.
relief.
No time in the spiritual world. It's the ever present. Yoga Maya energy arranges that everything's ever fresh. You feel like this day is the first day you're going to see Krishna. You can't wait. You're full of anticipation, excitement, and it's ever fresh. It's complete opposite of material world.
Therefore, we cannot
world,
conceive.
We get bored very quickly. Matter, So it's completely different there. We can't imagine what it's like. And also, you mentioned the word bridge a lot in your class. So one verse in the Purana says that Krishna is the bridge for crossing over the ocean of birth and death.
Yeah.
And last thing is that the one thing that's not limited is love. Love has no limit. So it ever increases.
We cannot even understand that.
Opposite of here.
Yeah, we just can't ever expand what it means. And David.
Thank you. Just a question about, in terms of the rasas and love. It's mentioned that Srila Prabhupada said it's offensive to think that Mother Yasoda's or Srimati Radharani's love is greater than Mother Yasoda's.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to understand is that the love is the same, but the expression in the different rasas is higher.
Yeah, these are different rasas, and they achieve maximum in it. Every rasas, is, maximum love. Maximum means there's no limit to it in any rasa. But we have kind of hierarchy that, the Sakya, Dasya, Madhurya, they have some gradations. And in a sense, like, actually, there's an interesting point which Kartik Chandra mentioned recently, that bhava you can experience only in conjugal relationship, bhava, not in other rasas. So this is interesting. I was thinking, God's sake, all of us, maybe subconsciously or consciously, want it deep relationship, but in the same time we are not attracted to this Madhurya. I don't want to be gopi, but then it's kind of conflict. You never experience. We mentioned, like, Dasya is like serving, and Sakya is like Krishna Sakya, you're in equal level. But if you have this urge or idea that this is highest, and then you're not interested in that kind of, not attracted, how does that compensate? This is just my conditioned thinking, So there's no higher or low something, it cannot be. These are spiritual relationships, and Krishna wants to enjoy all the rasas. He is Akila Rasamrita Murti. You want to enjoy all rasas. You cannot like, everybody is in Madhurya rasa. Well, it's too much a little bit. He wants to go to play sometime with her boys and jump on their shoulders, and he doesn't want just, but then every day he kind of find these moments which missing the gopis, and he just disappears from the cowherd boys' place, so they search for him. So that's that dynamic. He wants to enjoy all rasas, and with parental, with, even so-called Aishwarya, Bhava, whatever. This is all for pleasure of Krishna, that's the point. All rasas are for pleasure of Krishna. How can be lower and higher? Krishna is in ecstasy with his friend. He's in ecstasy with the cows. He's in ecstasy with the parents. He's in ecstasy with cows and birds and the rivers. Same. They give maximum. So when you get there, somebody tells you you'll become a river or a rock. I'm not sure of that, but we cannot just understand. We just, our conditions. Anyway. Anyone else has something to say?
Just to add to your question about Shiva, I think, fix me if I'm wrong, that Lord Chaitanya mentioned also that Lord Shiva is coming in his order of Krishna in the manifestation of Shankaracharya.
Oh, Shankara, Shankara, yeah.
Yeah. So you can ask, like, why he's doing this, and then it's all for the manifestation of Lord Chaitanya later, this other aspect.
Yeah, to prepare the ground, yeah. To prepare ground. Like, something he always rebels against that. Why he came? Because so many Mayavadis, even nowadays. The entire world is Mayavadi. And then, source of it is Shankaracharya, but what can we say? Anyway, any lady or something? Nothing. Sorry for this class. It's very complex verses. I'm not intellectual at all. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo.